I find lots of different things. Some of them aren't relevant. They're just maybe out of the area. Not the kind of places I want, but I want to hear it in your words, how you came up with the concept.
Would love to. It's actually, an integral part of the company. Gino, who's so I'm Adam, I'm the COO, and Gino Gomez is the CEO. And a while ago, Gino was diagnosed with cancer, and so he's in remission now. He's fine. But back when he was diagnosed with cancer, he had to move right away from Miami to New York. And, going through treatment is a little tough. So he tried to occupy himself by trying new restaurants or trying to get some good food. And he remembers one of the nights he literally was on Yelp and everywhere trying to find the best taco place in New York. He wanted this guy just wanted a really good taco. And he said he spent literally 2 hours, so many Yelp reviews. Each online had a top 10 with a different list. And then he realized the best thing for him to do and for someone to recommend it for him was to just ask a friend that lives in New York, someone that he trusts, someone that he understands the preference, that understands what, On Yelp, there's someone 18 years old and a 50-year-old lady and, different walks of life and different preferences that are reviewing the same place, and they don't understand Gino's preference.
Right.
And so at that point, we realized that the opinion of someone you trust is better than the opinion of 100 strangers that really don't know you.
Right.
And so that's where really the inception of HoneySpot came about, is just realizing that even with the vast information that's available out there is actually making your decision harder. And a good way to narrow that down is to sticking to the people that you trust and who you actually follow their recommendation and who actually know you too. That's where it all started. And at the time when Gino approached me about it, I was a product manager at Amazon on the Prime team. I worked on the TurboTax Personal Pro team at Intuit, and I was a product manager at Capital One. So I had a lot of experience of building technologies and taking it to market and marketing them. And so I loved the idea. And then we realized that the other stakeholders also have a problem with Yelp. The restaurants, we spoke to a lot of restaurants, and they weren't all too happy about it because they feel like, they're enslaved to negative reviews. An unfair negative review can really hurt your business and lower your rating, and people won't even click on you, and they fear forced to advertise on the platform. So we realized that there's a stakeholder there that also needs a pain point that we can solve. And by solving for both the user and the restaurant, that we could monetize this. So that's how it all came about.
Got it. Okay. So now Yelp charges people for their reviews, correct? I mean, for their listing.
You can have the listing, but if you want to, be higher in the ad or have more visibility, then you would pay. Okay.
And so as I was looking at your monetization, it's because I'm thinking if I went on my Facebook and said, hey, I'm going to be in New York this weekend, tell me a great steakhouse, I'd probably get some pretty good responses back, I would imagine. But what? So now tell me, how HoneySpot, right?
Yes.
So this is a separate app then, I guess, right?
Yes. And so if you do go on Facebook, from the people that follow you, they might, give you recommendations. What ends up happening on HoneySpot is, you have a profile, and you have, and if you see the appendix in the deck, we have the screenshots there. You have your profile, and you follow people, and people follow you. Very, noticeable UX that people already know in the market. And you have the list in different cities of your favorite restaurants. And, you're not just manually going and do that. We are plugged into Google's API. So if you just search, Nobu, Malibu, it'll show up with all of its information. You just click save, and it populates under Malibu on your profile. Now, we see a lot in the market, people that post on their Facebook or post on their Instagram, hey, I'm going to New York, I would like some recommendations. But there's also people that knew I spend a lot of time in Miami, and I have really good restaurant recommendations there. but they're not comfortable reaching out to me, or they don't know me that well enough to send me a text message or put it there, or I'm not going to respond to their Facebook post. But I have the list of my favorite restaurants on Miami, and it's pretty popular with my followers, and so they can just go on my profile and see it there. What it ends up taking away is that you need that person to respond to you, versus now you know who that person is and you trust their opinion, and you're going to go see the recommendations there, and then it extends beyond that vertical.
So tell me about all the different monetization formulas that you have.
Sure. So one of the key differences between us and Yelp is that we don't have negative reviews. The UX is not built for anything negative. You only save a restaurant if you like it. We find it hard to, imagine someone that will go in and save a restaurant they don't like. So it becomes a very positive experience for the restaurants. And now they know, look at all these people who have our HoneySpot or who have HoneySpotted them and have their restaurants saved. What we do is we build tools and functionalities for them so they can manage their page, manage their menus, the descriptions, and then be able to communicate with those who have HoneySpotted them. So you have a Tuesday that is empty and it's kind of slow. You send out to your followers the notification saying, hey, half off appetizers, or so on and so forth, so you can monetize that time. You are able to engage with your users, and also will use behavioral analytics to help you get those customers, and all this and collect reservations. So I go, Kevin, on your profile, I see you like this restaurant, this taco place in New York. From that profile, I just click, and we'd be plugged into either a Resi or Open Table API, and just make the reservation happen. So it's an end-to-end UX. And for all of that, it's a $200 per month subscription. And when we talk to a lot of the restaurants, and especially, we all started in Miami, and we talked to a lot of restaurants, and they said $200 is nothing for us compared to what we would have to do with Yelp. Basically, $200 is one table if they can fill it up through the app, or have people come and say, oh, my friend Adam likes this restaurant, I'll go to it.
Right. So $200 a month. I mean, that's obviously for now, I guess. I mean, as you get more users, that could change as you go. But yeah. Are you up and running at this point, or where do you stand with the app? Walk me through what you've seen.
Yeah, so we launched our beta on iOS. So it's on the iOS store. All Apple users can download it worldwide. And we launched in May of this year. And basically what we wanted to do is put the product out there, put the MVP out there, and see how people use it and how we can engage with it. What we also ended up doing with our launch is making it a great experience. So we are partnered with a great partner of ours, Samantha Schnur, who she's known by the Naughty Fork. She's a massive food blogger, and a lot of people, especially in the Miami area and New York, really respect her and respect her opinions on food. And we created this massive event where we invited some of the best restaurants in Miami, like Katsuya and Koyo Taco and Drunken Dragon, to come into this big villa in Miami, and each one set up a shop, like an actual pop-up restaurant in each of the rooms. And we invited a lot of people in the area to come in, sample the food, learn about the app. We had a lot of media exposure. Telemundo and Miami Herald and a bunch of other news outlets came and covered it. And within a night, we broke our little internet. We spiked 5,000 users right out of the gate, and Google's API stopped us, and so we had to upgrade and to continue. And from there on, those 5,000 users, we started understanding the analytics behind their behavior. What does it take for someone to start saving their spots? What does it take for them to invite their friends, so on and so forth? And so we've learned a lot from that. And realistically, you have an 80% higher. If you save one restaurant, you already have an 80% higher chance of them continuing and saving 3 others, and even bigger than that. So now we're revolving our V2 around how to get you to do that. And we also added for you to be able to filter on the map and say, oh, I want to see the restaurants from my friends, but only that are for brunch or that are good to go for a
It,
party.
is there any incentive for somebody to save a restaurant?
Not right now. So we're toying with that idea, and we don't want to make any cheap gamifications. We've seen a lot of, badges and points, and, they become very gimmicky, but we want to keep it more about the quality rather than the quantity. I don't want to put 1,000 restaurants. I want to keep it to the selected. What we've seen from people who are doing it is solving a pain that they experience. So let's say I told you about my list in Miami. I have a lot of people that would message me about that, but now I just have it there and I don't have to forget anything. And I refer friends to my profile and they go and they see it. We only get this from qualitative testing, really. It's a pride thing. You're very proud of, the places that you recommend because they're not the big touristy places. They're the hole in the walls and the places that only if you're really a local that you would know about.
Got it. Okay. So now, I'm just monetization wise, like at $200 a month in Miami. How many restaurants do you have listed now that are paying?
Right. So
$200.
We haven't opened up the feature for collecting the payment and the restaurant managed product. So that's part of the roadmap right now. First, we needed. So
far, you're just kind of beta testing. It's free, and then you'll start charging once you get up and running.
Yeah. We have during this time developed a lot of relationships with these restaurants. So since then, we've launched 4 events where we do brunch parties and dinner parties at these restaurants. And the cadence is starting to get a lot more. Now we're doing at least once a month. And so we have all these restaurants that we've already partnered up with. And I'm not just saying that, we have a lot of them just waiting for us to get the product roadmap for them to sign up.
Right. One of our, when you come on Pitch Investors Live, you're pitching to me right now, but you're also pitching. There's many people watching us as we're here. Yeah. But we also, it isn't always just me that makes the investment. It might be someone in my Rolodex, someone I know. Like, for example, in this particular case, we have a relationship. Have you ever heard of the gentleman? He's called the Food God. His name is Jonathan Chebin.
Yes. Okay.
He's a friend of ours. He's part of our connections and Rolodex. We work with him. He's on the Kardashian show, and he's been on there since day one. Built an amazing following. So I'm just wondering if somebody like that were to say, "Hey, I've got this app that I use to go to, special places." He would know the best pizza, the best tacos, the best steaks, the best this in probably every city in the country, right? Yeah. Or most of them. So, with that kind of connection would be pretty powerful, I would think.
It would be a great connection, and that's one thing that we've also learned from the Naughty Fork. And let's say in the Food Gods example, it is hard for him to have the list of his favorite places in every city, even on Instagram right now, right? Because things get lost in the sauce. No pun intended. You have this massive feed of all your favorite pictures of food and restaurants and things like that. But when we talk, or if we would talk to an influencer such as that, we would also offer value in return. So it's not that we just have a platform for them to develop another to develop their following there and also be able to monetize it. We have incentives where for a period of time or whatever the deal is, we'd make sure everyone that gets on the app has auto follows you. So it gives them, imagine you're on Instagram and you have everyone follow you from the inception of Instagram. And that becomes a great channel for the influencer that we partner with. And I think in his case, it would be a very lucrative one for both of us.
So all right, so we got to figure out how that might make sense somebody like this is not an easy guy to put a deal together with. So we may have to get a little creative in how we structure it. But but this is what we look for. We're looking for deals for ourselves, for our community, for our connections, for our Rolodex, et cetera, et cetera. And if this is something that somebody in our world is interested in, it helps us get excited about maybe investing also. So,
yeah.
So I think that's good. Is there anything else, just in closing here, that would be worthwhile for me to share with somebody like Jonathan in order to get him excited about this opportunity?
Well, a lot of the partnerships that we are seeking, such as one with yourself or him, is not just the check, right? It is you'd have a seat on the advisory board, and you are able to kind of share the expertise, whether from an operational experience or just from knowing the industry of leading the product. And so, as a founding team, Gino and I and Samantha Schnoor, we are very understanding of the value that comes that's beyond just the written check. And that's something that we would look for in these partnerships, and be able to also have a hands-on mentoring on the product development and the marketing efforts.
Good. Okay, super. All righty. Well, listen, I appreciate it. I think I think it's definitely an interesting idea. As the internet has these big unicorns like Yelp that explode, then there's niches like this that make a lot of sense, because I don't even go to Yelp anymore. It's just a waste of time. It's like you just get a listing of places all over the place. There's no real relevance, in my opinion. And it hasn't been fruitful for me, because I look for high-end stuff, and I could see where, if I'm going to Denver next week, I don't know Denver. I want to give me some good ideas of some cool places to go to, right?
Yeah.
This makes total sense. And I think you guys are on to something. Let me see if we can get some excitement from some of our folks on our side, and we'll get back in touch from there. So I've got your business PowerPoint, and I'm going to take some action on my side, get it sent to the right people, and we'll see if we can make some things happen.
That sounds fantastic. Thank you so much.
Okay. Hey, have a great day. Appreciate you coming to Pitch Investors Live.
Bye.
Take care, man. Bye-bye.